Man, we did 4 years of the pre-lime. This podcasting thing was such an amazing journey.
It was, man. We got a great guests from all walks of life. Artists, DJ, real estate agents, and many more.
And even just you and I kicking it, like we really put a lot of our lives into those 150 episodes that we did.
But there's a time and place for everything. And it's time to start taking this platform more responsibly.
It's funny because every time somebody said PPL, I would always think about people. And to me, that was the universe indirectly reminding us about who we're doing this podcast for.
Yeah, man. And with that being said, we would like to introduce you to the brand new
The People's Podcast. What's up, good people? It's your boy DJ Busby.
And it's your boy JKD.
And this is going to take some getting used to.
Yes, sir.
Because we're very accustomed to coming here and saying, and this is the pre-lab, we pre everything, we see everything.
Facts.
But we are here, people, with a brand spanking new podcast.
Yes, sir.
Now, I mean, the first things first, we'll say the name of the new podcast. We want to welcome you, first and foremost, to the People's Podcast.
Right.
All right? Now, let's explain a little bit about the change.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
It's all in the name, to be honest.
it's the People's Podcast.
Right.
And it's been, about a year, more than a year since we've done our last podcast.
Right.
We spent about 2 years in the pandemic. And, halfway through that first year, life happened.
Right.
So, with you, I mean, congratulations to you. You had your second child.
Thank you. Thank you. I did.
With me, I was handling my FET babies.
Right.
And when outside opened back, it was high pace.
Right.
I had no time for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all of that combined, we had to put the project on pause.
Right.
But after, about a year of not revisiting it at all, just reassessing my whole business model, because this idea for the People's Podcast I had before quarantine.
Right. Right.
I remember I was telling you probably a year before.
Yeah.
My plan was, JKD, every time I hear somebody say PPL, I always think about people.
Right.
And I'm like, something about that is just like, it keeps sending me a message.
Right.
So when I actually sat down and thought about it, I'm like, I think maybe we should go up to like 300 podcast episodes for pre-lime. And then at that point, we've gotten our feet wet in the space. We've built a community, and let's change it to a more professional business model.
Right. Right.
But, we took a year off.
Right.
So that led me to sit down, and I did a lot of reevaluating during that time anyway.
Me too.
We'll get into all of that.
Yes, sir.
Because we got to talk about that period of time in our lives.
Yeah.
But I got into a lot of reassessing my entire business model and my business strategy, and really understanding where there's value in certain places and what needs to be adjusted. And something that, sitting now with you guys, who I consider my team, you, Tasha, Willard, like my core team that I would ask you guys for decisions. You guys told me, like, I love the ideas you're coming up with, like the FET hub and this and that, or the exaggeration of like the nonsense I be doing, but it is smart, know?
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, your brand is something you need to take pride in. And those certain things, it was fun when we were in our 20s and we were kids, but we're growing up. And we got to be more responsible with these platforms.
Right.
A big thing for me was, I'm all about ownership and owning what you do, owning your projects, etc. Because I don't want anybody telling me, especially if I'm passionate about a project, telling me hit the road, bud.
Right.
For whatever reason they may have, I want to be in control of those type of situations.
Right.
And with that, my mentality at a younger stage was, all right, well, if I'm in control, I can come out here and wild out and say what I want.
Right.
Hopefully it works. And if it works, then the people love it. We doing it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, just because you're not a part of somebody else's platform doesn't mean you don't have a responsibility with these things, with these microphones, with these platforms, etc. And it's important that, you tend to those things.
Right.
So, I mean, it's the People's Podcast. It's self-explanatory. It's derived off of the work that we all put in those 150 episodes, bro.
Right.
150. How you feel about that?
It was a lot of work, bro. We did it every week. We were here recording, just kicking it like how we used to.
Yeah.
But there's a point in a time where our minds and our lives have to make that switch or that shift. And everything that we do, we got to do with purpose, right?
Yeah.
We got to do it with a sense of responsibility to whoever's listening, bro.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
bro, we was wilding. Like I literally had to go and take down everything off of our platforms because it's too wild just to leave up on the internet. I said, nah, bro, we was wilding. And one thing I want to say before we really get into like the mission statement of this project, the People's Podcast, I want to say thank you to you guys that really tuned in to us doing those first 150 episodes, because if you really think back to it, bro, these people that were like fans of the pre-lime really got like a fishbowl lens perspective on our lives in our 20s. These people got a lot of our 20s. Like they now know us on a personal level. Even though we may not know you taking us on and going through that journey with us, you guys heard a lot of us, our goods and our bads in our 20s. And we can't thank you enough just for sticking around. And, if you told a friend, if you just religiously listened week after week. A lot of people told me, like, especially when we stopped doing it, Buzz, when is the PPL coming back? I need that on a Friday. But again, I want to say thank you to you guys. Because at the end of the day, this podcast thing was a project I had. And there was people along the lines that, helped develop that, but you guys were the two that stuck out and stayed. And at the end of the day, I can't buy that kind of commitment and loyalty. You know what I mean? So to Deli, who's right there behind the camera.
Big up the cameraman.
To you, Duran, you've always been the co-host, and besides this is a smaller project based off of everything else we have.
Exactly.
But just for you sticking around, thank you.
Yeah, man.
In the pandemic, Pran has always been a fan of the show.
Right.
But he was helpful in terms of lending us his Zoom link to give us access to interview people across the world.
Exactly.
That period of time showed us, and it elevated the production quality that you're going to see in this show. We'll go through those things further down the road in different shows, but I just want to say thank you to all you guys, man. And that first 4 years was definitely like eye-opening, life-changing. It was an amazing journey.
All right, don't cry now, though.
No. But with that being said, it's our responsibility, to come here with a positive message, a message of development, and to do something, as the name suggests, for our people. It's the People's Podcast, and week after week, what we're going to do with this business model and with this format of the show, because at the end of the day, pre-lime, it's kind of niche. If you're some average Joe off of the street and you see something that says pre-lime,
somebody probably would think it's like some kind of Mexican spot, you know what I'm saying? With limes and like Coronas and all them things, you know what I'm saying? No, it's true though.
Pretty much. And they wouldn't have a clue. And you'd have to, now that's another barrier to have to explain it to them and then sell them on the podcast and then hope that they, so, the business model was flawed. And again, that took me having to reassess everything. So bringing this together now, the mission statement of this show, the People's Podcast, and this podcast is a whole revamped vibe. But you're still going to get, the funny aspects of Jakety and I. We're always going to come here and still make it fun.
Most definitely.
Yeah. we ain't gonna go crazy how we used to. We definitely gonna clean that up. But even down to the swearing. Like I personally had to check that about myself. Because I could be foul-mouthed and still rise to the top. But why would I prevent myself from accessing different sectors in this whole business to say, okay, the People's Podcast could go here if we don't swear. Or the People's Podcast could now go into young students' schools. I don't want to be in a elementary school doing a seminar with the People's Podcast and accidentally slipping up.
Right.
So it's just a matter of cleaning up the brand in general, right?
True.
But the purpose, as I was saying, the mission statement is more or less to do this podcast for the people and to kind of break generational curses that we have as a culture. You know, like for you, for instance, what would you say like some generational curses are that, you know, your parents may not have necessarily done to you, but because of what they were doing is a reflection on who you are today and things that could have been easily changed if they had the right knowledge?
Well, I mean, the number one is probably like the absence of a father in a child's life. You know what I'm saying?
Huge.
I think that's number one in our community.
Yeah.
You know, generational wealth, finances, something that's not taught in our community.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. Like, you know what I'm saying? The things we say, the things we say, the things that we listen to.
Yep.
The things we do, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. I mean, especially when it comes down to family, comes down to money, I think those are the key things, especially in our culture, that we need to smarten it up, learn a lot of new things, and actually and apply them. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Not just say that we're going to apply them, like actually do it.
Facts.
So,
and everything you just touched on there is more or less what the structure of the show will be.
Right.
And, you know, we sat down as a team and thought to ourselves, okay, well, how do we package this and do it on a consistent basis?
Right.
So with that being said, again, it's the People's Podcast, and we're doing this for the people. We want to provide information that's not normally talked about within our culture. The quickest thing we're ready to talk about is what ticket we're buying next and when we're going to meet up for the next party.
Facts.
There's not really any like platform or place or safe space where people could come and actually absorb this kind of content or hear something that may change their perspective on their entire life.
Right.
You know, another thing within the pandemic that a lot of people were forced to do is absorb new knowledge.
Right.
You know, it's sad if you were just on your phone the whole time scrolling the gram looking at Boxside. Right. But a lot of people actually took the time to go to what they call YouTube University.
Yep.
Google University and just study whatever they wanted to learn.
Right.
You understand? And with that said, I want to big up three people that really changed my life on that YouTube University.
Okay.
So I would say those three people or the three forces are Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard about them people, go and look up Earn Your Leisure on YouTube.
Yep.
So before I get to the other two, I introduced J.K.D. to Earn Your Leisure about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I want him to tell you his story about stumbling upon their craft.
Well, it's crazy because I would have a routine in the morning. You know what I'm saying? You get the kids ready, you know, drop them to school and log on. And the first thing I would type into my browser would be Twitch or SoundCloud, you know, just to get my day going and, you know, just listening to music, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Ever since you put me on Earn Your Leisure, it was like a 360, bro. It's like I wake up, you know, do whatever I got to do in the morning, get the kids ready, drop them to school, whatever. Actually, the first thing I do now is like I actually read. Like I read my Bible. I read you know, a book that I'm currently reading, or I read the news. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, when I log into my work, the first thing I type in now, I go on YouTube. I type Earn Your Leisure. See what new videos have they came out with.
Yeah.
And I would just religiously watch Earn Your Leisure.
Beautiful.
I just learn different things, whether it be real estate, whether it be stocks, you know, crypto, NFTs, all that good stuff.
So as JKD is saying, these are a couple brothers out of Brooklyn, New York, that made a name for themselves within this pandemic.
Right.
They started doing the podcasting about 3 years ago. Didn't see as much success, but really put things into overdrive during the quarantine. And if you just type in Earn Your Leisure on YouTube, you guys will see an abundance of interviews, conversations, tutorials, etc.
Right.
Just about the certain aspects of what Duran brought up as important for our culture to learn. Right. They go through a lot of those things with detailed podcasts, more abstract stuff, but it's just the content that they have is amazing.
Right.
And it's really good to start opening up your mind to different things as opposed to, as I said, contacting your buddy to see what's going on for the next fit.
Right.
We got to start thinking as, changing our culture and changing the lives of our children who probably ain't even here yet.
Right.
I'm looking that far down. I'm looking at my grandkids right now. I don't even know where my kid, who my wife is going to be,
right. And I'm like, sorry, not to cut you off, but I'm pretty sure there were videos or, channels already on YouTube explaining that. But why this is, this resonates with me so much because it's two young brothers, black guys that are telling us about how to manage our money. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching us how to buy real estate. Mm-hmm. They're teaching us different information on stocks and crypto and all that kind of stuff. So it's more relatable to me coming from them.
Exactly. And that was one of the first things I told you when I told you to watch it.
Yeah.
I told you straight up, watch these guys earn your leisure. Trust me, it's going to change your life. And when you look at them, bro, when I see them, I see us.
Right. Facts.
And it's not to say we're going to sit here and copy everything they do, but we just understood the transformative power of these two brothers going through this kind of content, but having that conversion to our people.
Right.
To say, okay, well, if our people now, if we could touch our culture from our walk of life, and people look at Buzz who, or JKD who gets drunk and goes to this fest, actually have some sense and could say something on a relatable level. I'm not no guy in a business suit,
right,
with a tie and coming here with my hair slicked back, trying to sell something.
Right.
Like, we are doing this just specifically for the people.
Right.
It takes a lot to do these kind of things without getting a financial return.
Yeah.
But that's to show you that we're not doing this for anything else but the development of our people.
Right.
And you touched pretty much on the structure of the show when I asked you what certain aspects do you think that our culture needs to be informed about. But before that, I had the two other guys. So it's Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
People go and subscribe, follow them. Amazing content that they have coming out. And they're slowly blowing up. I could see that happening day by day.
Yeah.
Next one now, 19 Keys.
Yeah.
So you put
you on
me
19.
on 19 Keys.
Right.
And I watched his content now. And the way that man thinks is just straight up brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know another word to describe it.
Right.
And the perspectives that he puts certain things in and challenges conventional ideas.
Right.
It really just starts to make the wheels start to spin in your head.
Right.
And it's like the way he thinks, it now forces you to think in a different perspective,
right.
which could have an effect on something else.
Exactly.
It's not all of these things is not just to regurgitate what you hear; it's to change your mindset on stuff.
Right.
19 Keys is a brilliant brother with that.
Yep.
And the last one's Wall Street Trapper.
Okay.
2 out of the 3 that I just mentioned, including Wall Street Trapper, have gone to jail.
Right.
And done time in jail.
Right.
Multiple times they've gone to jail.
Yeah.
And that's how to the ground that these guys are, meaning that they're relatable, they are the people.
Right.
They've just found new knowledge and decided that this is a platform they want to share it on.
Right.
But those guys, I suggest everybody who's listening to this right now, go on your socials, search up those names, and subscribe to them.
Right.
Very, very good information.
Yep.
I also want to get into the topics that we'll be discussing pretty much week after week. But before that, like we mentioned earlier, we've gone through, literally at this point, just shy of 2 years of a pandemic.
Yep.
So I want you to talk about some of your experiences throughout that
time. Pandemic, man. It was a time to reflect. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. A lot of things didn't go our way, and a lot of things went our way. You know what I'm saying?
Really went our way.
Me personally, we bought a house. We got an opportunity to buy a house during the pandemic.
I'm sorry to cut you.
Yes,
but you want to know the craziest part about that?
What?
So first of all, congratulations on buying your home.
Thank you, sir.
But before you even got that,
right.
Do you remember what I told you when you were like stressing about getting a new home?
Nah, I don't remember. What did you say?
So this was like months before you even found that opportunity.
Right.
I literally sat you down. I was like, bro, honestly, just stop worrying about it. Like you keep trying to look for a home and you're getting stressed.
Right.
But these things work out in its time. And I literally said,
yes, I remember now.
You could end up finding a house down the road from where you're staying right now with your in-laws. Verbatim, that's what I said. Tell them where your house is, JKD. You see what happens when you put it on the universe?
So I actually moved 2 houses down from my in-laws, like legitly 2 houses down. They're at 1156.
Crazy.
And I'm at 1150.
Crazy.
So, and that was all God, bro.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, like, you know, like stop worrying about it. Like, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie though, like during that whole season with the pandemic, there was a lot of worrying, bro. There's a lot of worrying. Like, where's this money gonna come from?
Facts.
All that stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, just stop worrying about it, and you know things will happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Trust God.
Mm-hmm.
Things will happen. Look what happened. Not only did I get the house, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
At that point during the pandemic, that's when real estate was like, bro, it was like rising high. Like when I say like houses are going for millions of dollars, like a house up the street from us, before we bought the house up the street from us sold for like 1.2, and it was way smaller than our current house.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, that was just because people were buying real estate. The market was hot. People are doing like $100K over asking price.
God.
Like real estate was hot, like, you know, and God bless us. That's all I'm saying. God bless us. Like we got the house. Like what we got the house for?
Yeah.
Is like it was all God.
It was off the market too.
Yeah.
Like we won't get into too much detail, but this is off the market. The man literally knew you guys and was like, "Yo, more or less."
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Like he was neighbors. Like we're all neighbors, right?
Yeah.
And he saw that we were in need of a house. He could have, you know, be a greedy guy, but he's like, you know what? You guys need a house. I'm not a greedy person. I have money.
Look at that.
I want to move. I want to downsize and give you this house.
Yeah.
Not only did he sorry, like I don't mean to like go on, but not only he gave us the house, bro, he gave us everything in the house, bro. So I didn't have to buy no tools. I didn't have to buy no ladders. I didn't have to buy no lawnmower. I didn't have to buy a barbecue. I didn't have to buy a couch. I didn't have to buy he took the dishes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff he left.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that like I didn't really spend money while moving into this house.
And as he said, this is at the height of inflation,
yes.
of house prices rising.
Yes.
This opportunity came to him out of the blue.
Yes.
And again, it's just divine timing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So congrats, man. That's huge.
Thank you, bro.
'Cause I'm sitting here like I don't even know when I'm gonna move out like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can move out like that.
Right.
If that's an option. But again, I ain't rushing it. I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on it.
Right.
I'm gonna leave those things in God's hands.
Right.
So to speak. So what else? What else did you take part in during that time?
What else? Nothing, bro. Honestly, you just be with my family.
You got a new addition to the family.
Got a new addition, yes.
Yeah.
My daughter Morgan. She is almost a year now, actually. Time's going by really quickly.
Fast, man.
What else? So I said house. We tapped into the NFTs and the crypto market. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but you know what I'm saying? Honestly, it just took a lot of like that time. I was just reflecting on, because I am a DJ as well, so like reflecting on some of the events that I want to do. Some of the initiatives I want to, you know, put out there. Twitch was a great thing in the pandemic for me too. Again, like, you know, there was a lot of DJs on Twitch that were pushing, playing reggae music, playing soul, all types of genres, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just decided to go down a different lane and try to push the inspirational kind of music. You know what I'm saying? Push the gospel, push the upliftment kind of music. So that has been great. That has kept my mind sane. And
Sunday Gospel Live, right?
Sunday Gospel Live, yes, sir.
Amazing.
Yes.
You really did an amazing job, mind you.
Yeah.
I ain't wake up for majority though, but I realized the power of what you were doing.
You pay your tithes though.
Yeah. I throw some bits in that collection plate. All right. So I see what you did there, and a lot of people. The one thing I saw was just the people's response to it and saying how much they needed that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, too, there was no real church.
Yes, exactly.
And not many people are going to want to go on YouTube and search up this Sunday's Mass.
Exactly.
So you provided something in the absence of the Lord's house.
Right.
And that alone was like something that shined down on you.
Right.
Because nobody else was really in that space.
No.
And like, when I say really in that space, like created a brand.
Right.
Did it weekly.
Right.
Like you did your thing, bro.
Right.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, respect, bro. Respect. That's pretty much it, bro. On my end.
Dope. For me, so a lot of people see everything that happened in the quarantine and say, yo, Buzz, you really killed it.
Right.
I'm going to start by saying the first couple months of quarantine and pandemic or whatever you want to call it was like one of the darkest times of my life. In general, the whole 2 years has been, minus the good parts, but a lot of it has been darkness.
Right.
Literally at the start of the pandemic, the day or a couple days before they announced the world's lockdown, my grandma had passed away. Months after that, when I should be mourning my grandma, I'm dealing with a breakup.
Right.
So those two things happened at the start of the pandemic.
Right.
And not only that, but now my DJ source of income is gone.
Right.
And that was a very big part of my income overall as me as an individual. But I'm like, okay, well, how is that going to be replaced? I have no idea what to do. I was just lost.
Right.
Bro, I was in this basement all the time.
Right.
I can't even go to people's house to just get over the thing of being alone. Being forced to be confined in your own personal space.
Right.
It was a struggle for us to even meet up to do this. I was sitting there eating junk food every night, bro.
Yeah.
Literally like Uber Eats almost every night or every other night.
Damn.
Here behind my computer, I'm buying popcorn from Cineplex some nights. I'm buying McDonald's. I'm buying Chinese food. Like, I should not be doing those things.
Right.
But anyway, I eventually take the steps to start getting in a better mental space. And then I realized everybody was going on live.
Right. So
I, like a lot of y'all, went and got that little iRig.
Right.
Started plugging it into my phone and going live on Instagram.
Right.
And, big up Instagram Live. It had its time.
It did.
But on Instagram Live, if anybody was tuned into those virtual parties, y'all know the struggle.
Yeah.
And what upsets me and frustrates me the most is big up Gold God. Okay. Big up Tory Lanez. Some of the most amazing entertainment.
Young Chow.
Young Chow. Most amazing, stellar entertainment I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
But they could have that going on Instagram Live. Right. But I can't play Michael Jackson Save the World.
Hey, man.
No. There's problems here.
Yes.
I can't play the top of the top R&B hit, hip hop hit, whatever the case is, a positive reinforcement song because of copyright laws. But they could have gals skinning out them.
Right.
Nah, man. It wasn't fair. So eventually, I'm starting to get traction on these lives. And one of my lives, I think, this was where I drew the line. I reached 200 something people.
Wow.
And this was just me promoting and people telling friends. That was a hot time.
Right.
And I reached 200 something people and I think my IG crashed.
Right.
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So at that point, I start researching, okay, where's a better place to stream? I stumble on Twitch.
Right.
Now, before Twitch even became anything, for those of y'all that have been following me since should know, I was on my Instagram promoting to all the DJs, switch to Twitch.
Yep.
do this because it's a better platform, more stable, A, B, C, D.
Right.
Men still till this day are going live on IG trying to play tunes. And I'm sitting there like, bro, I've been saying this since May 2020.
Yeah.
And y'all still on IG live trying to play for these 30, 40 people.
You know what it is, though? You know what it is?
Complacency.
That, and I feel like people are being cheap at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah.
Because it is an investment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people are just being cheap.
Yeah, facts.
But little do they know.
I'll definitely get into that part.
You see this? You see this?
The Twitch partner model, yeah.
Okay.
Before I even realized or cared about making any money on this platform,
Yeah.
I was advocating for it.
Right.
I was bringing the people. The first thing I did on Twitch did 100-something people. I did Soca Sleepover.
Okay.
100-something people came to the platform
Right.
to experience that. We went till 5 a.m, bro.
Right.
I'm there in my kitchen
You're
drunk,
cooking.
cooking in front of the camera. All these people laughing at me. And I'm just like, it's the pandemic, so I'm not caring about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just doing whatever I'm doing, whatever I think's funny. But anyway, eventually, now May is when I got, or April, May is when I got into Twitch.
Okay.
I got affiliate status, which is where people can start tipping you on this platform.
Right.
I got that, I think, in June.
Okay.
June, July. Bro, I didn't even open that affiliate email until October.
Right.
Because I didn't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing this for the money.
Right. Right.
I'm just doing the platform for enjoyment.
Right.
And then outside open, and I started having to do other things. So Twitch took a backseat for a little.
Right.
But when I revisited Twitch, I think it was SB Promo
Okay.
that told me, yo, DJ J just made his first 2 bills US
Right.
off of Twitch.
Right.
I'm like, 2 bills, what? So I went and messaged DJ J, and I'm
Right.
like, yo, so what's up? Like,
yeah.
how you get this? How you get that? He's
Right.
like, you got to be affiliate first.
Right.
I'm sitting there like, I had this email sitting there since July.
Right.
I could have been, doing something with my time.
Right.
But either way, that's not what the purpose was for.
Right.
So anyway, moving forward, he explains the whole scenario. I now go and sign up for the affiliate email or become an affiliate.
Right.
And that now is where your viewers
Right.
have the choice of buying Twitch currency and paying the streamer. And they call that bits.
Right.
So dollars or cents is bits.
Right.
You could pay a streamer bits and Twitch will get a percentage, the streamer gets a percentage, but that's a way of getting paid.
Right.
Well, people, if you didn't know, okay, there are some DJs out here in our industry who are literally making more than the salary of your 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that? Some of you, they're making double
Exactly.
your salary of
Yep.
your 9 to 5,
Yep.
streaming on Twitch from the comfort of their home.
Right.
There is absolute value in this space, and people really need to start paying attention to that. And I don't just want to blame DJs for not wanting to switch. The people as well need to have a hand in that as well.
Right.
Because you yourself know that when you're watching Instagram, 1, that locks your phone to Instagram.
Right.
So you can't look at anything else.
Right.
2, you really have to think about the fact that it could shut down at any moment because there's copyright issues with music.
Right.
Whereas with Twitch, there's none of that.
Right. Exactly.
I think the only way you could possibly get shut down is if you're streaming like a contemporary movie
Right.
or you're streaming like the Super Bowl game or something like that.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, they'll just give you a slap on the wrist or a warning.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I move forward in the space now. Again, I'm not thinking about, all right, now I could get these bits. Let me go harder. I'm just putting in the work.
Right.
But being in this space, you start seeing certain things certain individuals are doing. You just go YouTube University. How do I make my Twitch stream better?
Right.
And a bunch of things just pop up and you just utilize those things.
Right.
So I kept doing that, not realizing that me making my stream as good as possible brought so many eyes on me.
Right.
And a lot of people would hit me up not only for advice, but just to say, yo, your stream is amazing. Or DJs would be like, yo, I love how clear your stream is. Clearly you take pride in your work.
Right.
That was just another networking avenue.
Right. Sorry to
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
you, but like, I want to go back a bit because there was a key thing that Twitch did that a lot of us
Yeah.
that we haven't really noticed. Twitch has made a lot of these DJs actual businessmen.
Yeah.
Because in order to get paid,
Yeah.
you have to file you have to put a tax number.
Facts.
And in order to get a tax number, you have to register it as a business.
You see that? Look at that.
And a lot of DJs did not have that knowledge beforehand.
Yeah, none.
Even when the Real World was open,
Yeah,
none of these DJs had a business name or a business number. None of them had it.
Facts.
So it taught a lot of DJs how to be businessmen.
Yep. That's and even to break it down into a more basic fundamental, it taught DJs the capability of working together.
Absolutely.
It's been such a dog-eat-dog world in the business industry that you guys don't see.
Yeah.
Y'all see the end result of the party.
Right.
You don't hear the headache that JKD and I have to deal with week after week.
Yep.
About somebody that's too egotistical or this one that wants to do this. It's a lot we have to deal with.
Right.
But I found Twitch was a very community building platform where like the viewers would come and support the DJs.
Exactly.
That word we spoke about earlier, raid. You know, I know raid as something to kill bugs. Like you spray bugs, that's raid.
Right.
Well, on Twitch, what a raid basically means is if I'm doing a show right now and I have 200 people, I could tell JKD, okay, come on the show, come on your Twitch.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything associated with me. Just go on your Twitch, go live, press the button at 11 o'clock.
Right.
11 o'clock comes, I could type in a command /raid and it sends all 200 of my people over to JKD. Right. So that's how it just keeps the ball rolling. You could now be introduced to a DJ you had no idea about, but because I raided you to them and you hear them play a couple songs well, you're now a whole new fan of that new DJ. You understand?
Yeah.
And that the platform is not for DJs. This is actually a gaming platform.
It is. Right.
Deli actually streams on the platform gaming wise. Right. You play Call of Duty. I was tuning in the other night.
Deli, you got my 1,000 bits, yo. I gave you 1,000 bits the other night, yo. Okay.
He big smile at me. Definitely got 1,000 bits.
That's $14 US. Yeah. I want it back. I'm just kidding.
All that NFT money? Where my 1,000 bits? But you understand this like I don't understand the hesitancy of both the DJs or consumers going to the platform. Yeah. Consumers, honestly, I just feel like you're lazy or not informed. Yeah. Yeah. You're lazy because most people, I don't want to make a new account for something else. Right. It will take a minute or two out of your life. Pardon me for interrupting. No facts. But it'll take a minute to create an account, and then you have the app there. Yep. You could tune in at your leisure, whenever you want. Yeah. And on top of that, now you could use other functions on your phone and still be listening to the music, or have the screen in the top right of your phone, picture-wise. Exactly. Yeah. Instagram, it forces you to be looking at something, and if you want to stray away or send a reply text message, you're stuck. You can. Yeah. So like let's think about the opportunities that we have and take as much advantage of them as possible. Right. Which is what I did. Right. Yeah. And I went in. Yeah. I found myself streaming sometimes 4 or 5 days a week. Right. And that was just because like I didn't have the nightclub gigs, and people don't realize how draining that is. Right. A one nightclub gig, especially for somebody that's not like constantly doing this, like it's their full-time job. Yeah. And even to that extent, it's pressure, like it's difficult to deal with. Yep. And I don't want to see nothing about no music on a Sunday after my Saturday night gig. Right. And likewise Friday, but I have my Saturday night gig. Right. So you can imagine most weekends I'm doing back-to-backs, Friday and Saturday. I just want to stay in my house and not do anything for the next 2 days. Facts. But without that pressure of in-person gigs, I got into the space of Twitch, and I took full advantage of it, bro. I am extremely proud of myself for the strides that I made in my career on Twitch. Right. And for those of you that don't know the story, I'll give you a abbreviated version because there's so much we want to talk about in the first episode. I kept doing my thing on Twitch, and I got noticed by a lot of people. Right. It allowed me to see a different side of DJs that I already knew and bond with them in a different way. Yeah. You know, and actually have conversation with them or see them play, because a lot of people don't realize too, when it comes to an in-person gig in an actual physical space, nobody's watching the DJ. Right. They're hearing the DJ. Right. Once in a while you'll glance up, or if the DJ says something in particular, you glance up, but people don't realize you're not really thinking about that. You're just there partying to the music. Right. But on Twitch, all people are looking at. Right. People are only looking at you on that screen. Right. So it gave me a sense of like listening to people and being forced to seeing people, how they operate, how they move, and etc. And yeah, it brought me closer to certain DJs.
Yep.
But it was one morning, randomly, I was working, but I was on my break or something like that, and I went to sleep.
Right.
And Bree, big up Bree, she had called my phone and she was like, yo, wake up. And mind you, I've tuned into Kevin's Crown show, you know, pretty often.
Right.
But it was a couple weeks where I didn't. I think work got busy or something like that.
Yeah.
Bree called my phone and said, get up now or go onto Kevin Crown stream right now.
Right.
And type 1 in the chat. I'm like, what are you even talking about? She's like, he's doing a DJ announcement.
Right.
Or not a DJ announcement. He's doing a DJ competition to see who he's going to send his raid to.
Right.
So that raid we just spoke about where he could send his whole crowd or somebody could send their whole crowd to you.
Right.
He was having a competition with DJs to see who he would send it to. And this is the first one, mind you.
Right.
So I'm laying in bed, coal in my eye. I'm like, I don't, honestly, it's
Right.
Kevin Crown.
Yeah.
Is this like superstar DJ from New York in our industry
Right.
that has a mainly New York following.
Right.
But he's international at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
still, who am I?
Right.
If I put my name in there, is it really going to do anything? I
Right.
could just go back to sleep right now.
Right.
She's like, no, give it a shot. And she just kept pressuring me.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I just, for something in me, just say, you know what? Why not?
Right.
I go, what up, people? Good morning. And then I see he talks about the competition. He's like, DJ, this is your last chance. Put the ones in the chat. Our moderators will compile a list, and we're going to do a voting system to see who's going to get the raid. Bro, I put the 1.
Yeah.
I got added to the list. I'm looking at the numbers as the votes go.
Right.
Numbers are flying by from me.
Right.
And I'm panicking because I'm in my bed in boxers and a t-shirt,
Right.
thinking to myself, wait, I
You
might
have to-
actually win this.
Yeah.
Then I see my thing going in a landslide.
Right.
Bro, I had 60-something votes. Second place was 20-something.
Jeez.
From time I see that, bro, I hopped out of bed, threw on clothes.
Right.
I had to run to my basement to do this show now.
Right.
Bro, he sends me the raid. I'm just heart's full.
You're right.
I'm so appreciative.
Yeah.
And I just drew for the best songs that I knew that would work in terms, I know he's Grenadian.
Right.
I know he has a New York crowd. Let me just pull these things out of the sky.
Right.
I freestyle it anyway,
Right.
but I had that mentality. Bro, 20 minutes into the set, my whole stream crashes. So I'm sitting there like, this guy's going to look at me like I'm unprofessional.
Right.
He's not going to care,
Yeah.
anything about me. I boot back up the stream. Most people join back.
Right.
Bro, after the show now, I'm cheesed.
Right.
Because I'm like, this guy, I've always wanted to contact. You
Yeah.
always want to contact the bigger guys in the industry.
Right.
I'm like, this was my chance, and my computer crashed. Like,
Right.
I went and spent how much money on this friggin' computer?
Right.
So I was mad. And then he messaged me, and he's like, yo, bro, like, you held it down. You actually pretty good.
Okay.
He's like, this song that you played, can you send me those? But I'm like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. Fast forward now, a
Right.
week later, same competition.
Right.
And I was like, nah, I think I told you about it.
Yes. I
Nah,
remember.
I was like, yeah, nah, bro.
You're like let an ex DJ get a chance.
Yeah. I'm thinking I got last week. Maybe we can give somebody else a shot. Why not? I don't want to be greedy. And what did you tell me?
I just said, yo, bro, like it's a dog world, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get your opportunity now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you think all those other DJs are gonna say, you know what? Let Buzz get it this time.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, bro, go for it again.
Yeah.
It's your opportunity.
And you definitely were the influence on the second time around.
Yeah.
That I put a 1 again to go in the competition.
Right.
And y'all just kept forcing me like, yo, stop being so nice, more or less.
Right.
Give other people or don't give other people a shot. Now is your time.
Right.
This is your opportunity. Take it.
Right.
I win again the second week.
Yep.
This stream now is a lot more flawless.
Right.
No crashing, nothing. Everything worked out.
Right.
But he messaged me again after that show. And the fact is he was actually paying attention.
Right.
He didn't just send me to people and go about his day.
Right.
And he heard me the second time. He's like, bro, like, you sick?
You
like,
nice.
you good with it?
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he asked me. He didn't even ask me for tunes that time.
Okay.
That time he was like, bro, whatever you think is hot, like road mix wise, just send it to me. I ain't even gonna ask you for. Like, all right, cool. But that developed now a rapport where he now knows who I am,
right,
knows I'm good, and can see the value I have as a DJ, as a streamer,
right,
etc.
right.
You know, and that link alone was like profound.
Yeah.
In terms of the direction my career is going.
Right.
And you know, we'll wrap this up by saying months later after that now, again, I've tuned into his show frequently.
Right.
Work got busy.
Right.
It must have been about 2-3 weeks I ain't even had the time to tune into his stream.
Right.
I tune in a random Wednesday or something like that, a random day of the week. And this is at 9:28 a.m. And I remember checking the time because I had work to do for something. But I tuned in at 9:28, and the first thing I heard him say was, "Guys, 9:30 special announcement.
Right.
9:30 huge announcement. Y'all need to be here for that." So I type my little good morning message in the chat like I always do and say, "What's up, people? Hope you're having a good day."
Yeah.
For whatever reason, all them people, them 300 something people that's typing away.
Yeah.
He sees my name in that.
Yeah.
As he's making the announcement. So people, this morning show I got going on here, y'all know what it is. Every Monday to Friday, 200, 300 people a day. I'm doing this in real life.
Right.
As he's making this announcement, he sees my name amongst all the clutter.
Right.
Yo, Busby, you here? Busby, I'm telling you this from now. If you come to New York, you're booked.
Just like that.
Just like that. Out of nowhere, nobody told me to go on his stream that day.
Right.
I literally tuned in 2 minutes before that announcement.
Yeah.
And he randomly sees my name and says, "Yo, if you come to New York, you're booked." You best believe I went straight to aircanada.com, went straight to JKD. Yo, what are we saying, fam? I'll buy your ticket. We're going. I'll buy your party to your cruise ticket.
Right.
Let's make this happen. We're making it a trip.
Right.
So said, so done.
Yes, sir.
We go to New York, bro. The man was open arms in his studio.
Yep.
I got to play a 3-hour set in his morning show.
Right.
Where he didn't baby me or tell me what to play. He just said, "Bro, do you?"
Right.
It actually helps that you know what you're doing because I could do some work.
Right.
Go and play on his boat ride. How did you find the boat ride? Yeah, I know. So
let's just say it's better than a lot of boat rides up here.
Okay. Listen, that's another thing. Okay? That's another thing we're going to talk about eventually. But that's another thing. Remind me. Just say that's another thing later. I'll remember.
Okay.
But the boat ride was phenomenal.
It was really good, bro.
Because he's built such a culture with what he was doing that people flew in from all over the world, even with restrictions, PCR tests and stuff.
Yes.
Drove in from other states far.
Yes.
I think Atlanta to New York is how long?
Like 16 hours.
And somebody drove that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of community that he built. And we are now going into a completely different city.
Right.
Right? With a completely different group of people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
But it still felt more homely and friendly and family oriented than, as you said, a lot of boat rides here.
Yes.
And we know majority of the people here.
Exactly.
So I found that like eye-opening and amazing that if you build that kind of culture, the amazing things that can come out of that.
And not just that, like everybody on that boat ride was enjoying themselves.
Facts.
There was nobody sitting down. I didn't see one person sit down.
Unless they was drunk.
Unless they were,
It was phenomenal.
Yes.
So I say all of that to say, like, I won't put it up to the height of your house situation, but it's very similar in certain ways.
Right.
Like, if we really break it down, I've been trying all these years. I was on a truck with him in Trinidad.
Right. Yeah.
I was there.
I was recording you guys.
Yeah, you were recording. I asked Bandit for an opportunity to play for Juve Yellow Devils, not knowing this would be what it is today.
Right.
But on that truck, Bandit could have let any DJ in the world on that truck.
Right.
But on that truck, the only truck for Yellow Devils was Bandit, Kevin Crown, and Busby in 2018. And look at us today on Twitch.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
But I say that to say I met Kevin then.
Right.
I tried a couple years after that to link with him. He not responding to messages.
Right.
But he doesn't know me.
Right.
I tried book him. He not responding because he mad busy. He booked out.
Right.
But it took a world pandemic where I felt like, okay, well, how am I ever going to contact any of these guys now?
Right.
To a lucky situation on Twitch that now has it to the point where he calls me with advice, I call him with advice, or when we call each other, it's just like an hour or two long conversation, just because we're cool and we're talking about the development of ourselves and our business.
Right.
And I couldn't have prayed for a better outcome of that. You know what I mean?
That's good, bro.
And certain situations like that, I say to say, even in the darkest of moments in your life, the light will still shine, and the light will come through, and you'll figure out certain things that you've been trying to figure out forever, like your house.
Right. Yep.
And it happened exactly like how I didn't even, you say shit as a friend.
Yes.
I'm not thinking, you're gonna get a house down the road.
Right.
I said it's possible, but don't stress on it. And what happened? Yeah,
a house on the road. Yeah.
So I mean, that wouldn't sum up my entire 2 years because I did a lot outside of that.
Right.
I introduced Tsunami for the first time in the city. Like, people thought I was lying. People thought I was pulling a JKD and only putting 5 fat tickets and saying early birds done, sold out, people. Don't come back for more. I put 100 tickets, bro.
Yes.
Thinking to myself, all right, I know the hype.
Right.
These is gonna fly probably in like half an hour.
Right.
8:02. Like 5 people messaged me, bro, what's up? What are you doing? How could you only put 10 tickets on it? Like, come on. And I'm thinking like maybe something happened to the site.
Right.
I go and check, 100 tickets sold in a minute.
Crazy.
A minute, people. I put a next 100. That sold within 10 minutes.
Crazy.
That hype alone goes to show you how much hype there was for the event.
Right.
And for that to be the first, especially with the brand rechange,
right.
The first Tsunami was just amazing.
Yep.
And what I loved about it was home.
Right.
There was no outside, like, the foreigners coming in. This was specifically home.
Right.
And it was born in Toronto. The first people that went to it was from Toronto.
Right.
And that event was built with love, bro.
Right. Right.
And it's just the perfect promo material for when the foreigners are allowed to come in here this year.
Exactly.
So I did that. I exercised some ideas with Soca Sleepover.
Right.
They both were sold out events.
Yeah.
I tested the waters with other parties. Some were great, some were not so great.
Right.
But I did about 7 parties last year.
Right.
You know, and that was on top of Twitch. A couple months Twitch had to take a back seat.
Yeah.
But it was a lot that I did.
And mind you, like, this was like during the pandemic. Like, what else can we say? Like, this was during where there's restrictions and, you know, there's rules.
Yeah.
That's amazing, bro.
Facts. I appreciate it.
That's amazing.
It took a lot of, it didn't come without its headaches.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
Facts.
But it definitely was worth it. And I can't thank everybody enough that was on board with that, helped out with those ventures, and just came out and enjoyed themselves, man.
Yeah.
A big thing, the last couple things to talk about. There's so much more that happened in the quarantine, but I won't bore y'all.
Yeah.
Just being able to be with my family.
Yeah.
You know, that was something I think we all took for granted, but I definitely took for granted.
Yeah.
You know, you get so engulfed with your friends or a girlfriend or this and that, you don't really think about how much time you're actually losing with your family.
Yeah.
And to be actually in close quarters with your family and kind of forced to be there, but at the same time, like, there's rooms in the house.
Right. Exactly.
But we still made it a point to be together and talk amongst each other and getting that valuable family time. I think we could all say that we appreciate.
Right.
Because you don't know when that could go. That could go.
Exactly.
Something could happen to us, to our family. You never know.
Exactly.
So COVID was a blessing in disguise that some of y'all don't even still realize.
Absolutely, bro.
You know? And the last thing I'll mention about I mean, I did my 9 to 5, but who wants to talk about that? When we went down on the pandemic for the second, that sounds very weird. When we went back on lockdown. Pause. All right, let's just call it the people. When we went back under restrictions the second time.
Yes.
This all literally happened on my birthday. On the day I was throwing a birthday party.
Right.
And normal parties are 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. That day, we're getting news announcements from the news saying we now have to change the time of our party from 11 to 3 to 6 to 11 because rules are coming into effect at midnight.
Right.
Like COVID is just going to go back in its house at midnight. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Or it's going to come out of its house at midnight.
Facts.
It stays in its house during the day.
Facts.
But yeah, I definitely don't want to go down that road right now. But anyway, I say all that to say that was another depressing moment for me. I have all of these people, 300 something tickets out there coming to this party for me.
Right.
And all of these things are being thrown at me at once. And I'm like the stress was just way too much. And it got to a point where I just got mad.
Right.
Like I was fed up with these restrictions. I was fed up with anything. I didn't even want to hear the C word.
Yeah.
But it boiled down to a point where I think I was talking to Shamari and Judgment.
Right.
Big up to them. I was speaking with them and I was just like, sometimes speaking with other people, you say something that will even trigger yourself.
Right.
And I was telling them, like, at this point, we got to figure out why we're back on a second lockdown.
Right.
And I'm not talking about why in terms of the government's decisions,
right,
but spiritually.
Right.
Why are we back here?
Yeah.
Because I remember when they first opened up the gates from the first, like, real lockdown.
Yes. Yeah.
I said to myself, okay, it's go time with the feds, but there was still so much more I wanted to do or needed to do with, like, that time that I had.
Right.
And when they opened up outside, I didn't have the time to do those things again.
Right. Right.
It was straight outside mode.
Right.
But going back under lockdown, I said that to them, and after leaving that conversation, I was like, let me think about that. And I thought about it, but I'm like, it just gives me more time to do what I need to do. And that is when I stumbled on the Earn Your Leisure guys.
Okay.
And investing my money and learning how to be financially responsible. And that, to me, is probably the most valuable thing that happened to me the entire pandemic.
Right.
And being in such a dark place and just being straight up upset.
Right.
Like, I felt like I wanted to go stand there with Judgment outside the Capitol. I was mad, bro. I was upset.
Wow. This guy.
I was mad.
Don't do judgy like that.
He's not a nice person. He's not a nice person. All right? But I was upset. But to really look back and think that I went back under that experience and then found such a profound thing that I am now here doing my best with you to teach to these people that I really think could make a difference in the community with. Right. That alone is just like
absolutely
the biggest moment to me.
Absolutely.
Out of all of that time. So with that being said, let's start touching a little on the topics that we're going to be discussing weekly.
Right.
Now, as JKD mentioned earlier, he spoke about different things in his life that made him who he is today and stuff that if it had been different, he might have been a different person.
Right.
Right? The 4 topics that we could extract from what you said and that we decided we're going to talk about weekly is relationships.
Yep.
I think that one is the one we could all have a common understanding on.
Right.
We want to talk about financial responsibility.
Right.
Investing your money instead of just frivolously spending it.
Right.
And building generational wealth.
Right.
And what comes around those things. Right. We want to talk about one that I think you and I both struggle with. So it's going to be an interesting journey to talk about that publicly. But the last one is health.
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's not just the weight of somebody in terms of somebody's health.
No.
Somebody could be a big person and be more healthy than you listening to this podcast.
Right. Right.
You understand? But health boils down to a lot more things.
Right.
It's inactivity. COVID put us on our behinds.
Yep.
A lot of us are working from home now and don't really realize the long-term, problems those are going to have. But we'll get more deep into those. And the last one is something I call elevating entertainment. So it could go both ways. Elevating entertainment, meaning entertainment that's out there that's valuable.
Right.
Where you could at least take some knowledge from it and apply to your real life.
Right.
Like how I mentioned earlier, Earn Your Leisure,
right.
19 Keys, Wall Street Trapper. Those are elevating entertainment pieces.
Right.
But also, in that same breath, I want to take that elevating entertainment and make it, how do we elevate entertainment?
Right.
The same way we switched pre-lime to the People's Podcast?
Yeah.
The same way, like, why is soca still not a category on iTunes?
Right.
And what are the steps that we could actively take?
Right.
And start discussing within our community about taking soca, taking reggae to the next level.
Right. Right.
Some people think once we reach the Grammys, that's it. But there's still so much more that could be done with that music.
Right.
Look at the kind of power that music has in this world.
Right.
from the Michael Jacksons to the list goes on.
Yep.
You know, and it's something that needs to be a discussion within our community.
Right.
Because so much people gravitate towards the stupidness. And we can't keep praising that, but not having a discussion about uplifting.
Right.
You know, we got to be as loud with that as we are with uplifting our culture.
Absolutely.
So one by one, I mean, we'll both say a piece on each of those subjects and why it's important.
Right.
And then we can get out of here.
Right.
So relationships.
Yes, sir.
What do you think?
Right. And when we say relationship, we're not just talking about like, you know, a man and a woman.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about relationship with your kids,
Mm-hmm.
relationship with your parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Also, like, a lot of people don't put this in perspective, but relationship with yourself.
Yeah, huh?
I think that's a key one that we have to talk about.
That's amazing.
Let's go to the next one with the finances, right? Again, you know, tapping into the markets that are present to us.
Yeah.
A lot of us from our culture are not into the stocks.
Yeah.
Simple as plain. You know what I'm saying? When you talk to a black person, like, oh, where do you keep your money? Yo, I just keep it under my mattress. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them.
That's me. I'll get into that, but go ahead.
A lot of them don't invest their money. A lot of them don't even have. A lot of people don't even have life insurance, and that's a big thing that we have to talk about.
A lot of different pivotal things, man.
You know what I'm saying? And
the biggest one under that, I'm gonna say it loud and big up my guy Kanye. Drug dealer by Jordan, crackhead by crack, and the white man get paid off of all of that.
Facts.
And we gotta really start thinking about that. But go ahead.
Facts. Yeah, man. Just, you know, like we're in the new age of how to get money, different ways of getting money, crypto again. You know what I'm saying? Stocks, NFTs, all that stuff. We're gonna explain in our shows, and hopefully you guys understand where we're coming from with those.
Yeah.
What was the next one?
So that was financial.
Yeah. So
the next one is
health.
Health as well.
Health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about physical as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? That is important. Don't get me wrong. Going to the gym, eating healthy.
Yep.
But, you know, due to the pandemic, there was a big focus on mental health. You know what I'm saying? And that's a key thing that we need to talk about, especially in our community.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? During the pandemic, a lot of people were suffering from like PTSD and all kind of, you know, and they were getting killed for it. Yeah. And that's something that is needed to be talked about in our community. So, again, these are things that we're going to be talking about throughout our podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As much as we, you know, we like to joke around and have fun.
Best believe we're still
gonna do it. Yeah, we're still gonna do it.
Getting these jokes off.
But like you said, bro, like we're in a position now where we have to teach.
Yeah.
And we have to inform our people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we're in a space where like a lot of people are not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we're doing that now. I'm glad that we're realizing that we're getting older, we're getting wiser, and knowledge needs to be shared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no point of keeping it in.
Facts. That's a big fact. And then entertainment.
Elevating like
entertainment,
yeah, like you said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, keeping up with the news, what's going on with the news, you know what I'm saying? Music, all that stuff. We are DJs at the end of the day, you know. We're gonna say like what we like, what we don't like.
Yep.
You know, just kind of keeping it real.
It's big, man. I really like the one that stuck out the most was the relationship with yourself.
That's
a
powerful
key.
One. That is key.
Powerful one.
That is key. And that's something that like during this pandemic I had to actually sit back and realize, like, if you don't have a relationship with yourself, you're not gonna have a relationship with anybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about a good, healthy relationship with yourself.
Facts.
Take your way from, you know, social media sometimes. Take your way from just your eyes glued to the TV.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Like I realize the transformative power, especially of people that are relatable to who you see on the screen.
Yeah.
The transformative power of absorbing those kind of content. Like a couple years ago, you couldn't get me to sit down and watch Earn Your Leisure.
Right.
I wasn't caring nothing about that. It's just, what do I have to do to get this DJ stuff popping?
Right.
But like the way that you could really change your circle just by putting people on content that somebody prepares is profound. Like I put you on Earn Your Leisure, you now looking into how many different things. Not to say that you weren't before, but it adds value to what you're absorbing entertainment wise.
Right.
I like you could have any kind of hooligan or degenerate in your life and just say, yo, watch the People's Podcast for a week. And that could change that person's life.
Yeah, bro.
I got friggin' hooligans and I got Judgment watching. My bad, Judgy. My bad.
No, but like, just to go on your point, like it just changed your whole perspective, your whole mind of thinking. Yeah. Like we were just talking off air. You're like, I'm telling you, yo, there's a venue that I want to get. I know it's a lot of money, right? Back then, I was just like, yo, there's no way I'm getting that venue. Yeah. What did I tell you this today?
I'm gonna attach it for the money. No. That's what you said.
I did say that, but my mind was just like, yo, I'm gonna see if I can get
speaking into this.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if I can get like an NFT or something, do something in stocks, see if I can get that money and buy that and rent out that venue.
Facts. No facts.
Because I know I can sell it out.
Yeah.
It's just I need the money up front.
Facts.
How am I gonna get the money up front? I can't do it with just a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta start thinking. See my whole perspective of thinking.
Yeah. And that leads me into what I was gonna say anyway. I'll go down the list as well. Relationships. So as you said, relationship with self, relationship with your family is key. Relationship with your friends is key. Co-workers. And relationships is not only how to strengthen, but knowing what kind of distance to keep certain people.
Exactly.
Your business relationships. Yeah. If you're conducting business and you're partnering with somebody or you're working with somebody, working for somebody, how is that relationship and how is it going to benefit you to strengthen that or weaken it?
Right.
All of these things are just important in terms of higher knowledge, you know? And I found a quote here that fits in line with what I'm talking about. I pray everyone finds the right circle of friends and the right partner because life's already hard and relationships should have to be the last thing we worry about.
Absolutely.
I think that's facts. So if we could provide a different perspective on relationships here where you could sit down and say to yourself, you know, I should keep that person at arm's length or I should stop talking to this person every single day because of what they're doing to my mindset. Right. That's a valuable piece of knowledge that could help you free up that mental space that's clogging you from wanting to do bigger things.
Right.
You understand? Absolutely. And the next one, financial investment, generational wealth, managing your money, investing your money, spending your money, how to spend it properly, saving money. A lot of people don't think about that part. It's just how to get it quick and how to spend it quicker.
Right.
Having money work for you.
Absolutely.
And having your money make you money is pivotal.
Yep.
And having a residual income, you know, where you're making money even though you're not doing anything. Right. You've made one piece of content, but it's selling.
Right.
That's like a Titanic or a Spider-Man or whatever the case, for instance.
Right.
You make that one movie, but that's selling for years down the road.
Right.
That's residual income, you know, and then getting into the financial assets, like crypto, NFTs, stocks, and you know, the perks with those things. We're not going to sit here and do a financial literacy class.
Right.
And again, this is something that we're going to have to say before every single podcast in the financial section. But we are not financial advisors by any means. So we don't want you guys going and hearing something that JKD said on a podcast, go throw your whole life savings into it, and then something happens.
What do our brothers say at Earn Your Leisure? Do your own research.
Do your research, do your homework.
Facts.
All right? And especially with money. You don't just want to be throwing that anywhere and then something happens. Right?
Exactly.
What you were saying earlier, keeping the money in the shoebox.
Yeah.
I was that guy.
Right.
I literally was the guy that said to myself, I just want to keep my money in a place in the bank where nobody could have access to it.
Right.
Nobody could come and steal it because a shoebox, somebody could break in my house and steal that.
Yep.
If I keep my money in the bank, I don't want to risk my money anywhere. I just want to keep my money in a savings account or something and just let it sit because I know at the end of the day, I don't need to risk or play with money. I could just work hard and make it. Because I know my value and I know where my career is going. I could just make the money.
Right.
A huge thing that I learned, which people have said to me over the years, but you're not really going to take in information until you're ready to hear it.
Right.
people have always told me, don't just keep your money in the bank. You want your money to work for you.
Right.
You want to invest your money into places where it could grow for you. I never cared about any of that because of the risk associated with it, and I'm pretty low risk.
Right.
But a huge part of that was told to me, but again, I didn't really care for, was inflation. And I'm sure everybody listening to this right now that notices the grocery prices from this week to 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
The jump.
Oh, yeah.
You are noticing the rise in price due to inflation.
Yep.
And the same $20 that you used to buy the groceries in 2019, is that as valuable as the $20 that you could use today to buy those same groceries?
Absolutely not.
No. And your money is literally devaluing in a bank.
Right.
Because what banks are doing is taking that money, and when you sign to put your money away in the bank, somewhere deep down in the Bible fine print is, oh yeah, well, we're going to take your money and we're going to reinvest the money into the market. We have it's a bank. Right. Everybody's putting their money in the bank. So they have bank to pay the best of the best to play the stock market.
Right.
So you have access to your money, but we are essentially taking your money and fueling it into the market and charging you to keep your money in this bank.
Yeah. And we're using your money to make us more money.
But we're not going to give you any of that.
Exactly.
So your money is literally depreciating and devaluing over time as inflation rises.
Right.
The bank is charging you to keep your money in their shoebox.
Right.
But what's happening to your bread?
Right.
And these are the kind of ideas that we want to start placing in people's heads if you're not into that space, or if you never cared to look into it, if you don't even have somebody to tell you those kind of things.
Right.
We want to be those people to like enforce the importance of financial responsibility, and it's investing your money, saving it properly, etc. Right? A quote I found for this one, as we close the financial section, is historically our culture has had some of the most serious trauma with money and experiences that have left a stigma with how we handle our finances. But we can and should be the generation that breaks that, but only if we execute it collectively. And that's what we're doing here with this podcast, man. We just want to get everybody in our culture's minds thinking the right way,
right?
So that our kids and grandkids don't have to look back and say, well, our daddy spent too much time buying J's, and
Facts.
We could have had a bigger house if they weren't buying so much shoes.
Facts.
And financial literacy is very important. Health is wealth. Mental health.
Yeah.
Big. As I was saying, I was in a dark time in those 2 years.
Right.
I'm still not even completely out of it, but I'm still, I'm here.
Right.
I'm making it happen day by day. But mental health is key. Physical health, that's, I think, a big one for you and I, because we've always visited that space.
Yep.
And that's one thing that sadly has taken a backseat in terms of our priorities.
Yep. Absolutely.
And not just for the camera and the likes or whatever the case is, but we both want to hold ourselves accountable and using this platform as something to hold ourselves accountable to start getting more healthy.
Right.
Eating better, as you said, physical, working out.
Right.
Like, we need to start holding ourselves accountable like that with those things weekly.
Right.
Even daily checking in on each other. Like, I know life gets hard. At the end of the day, you have kids.
Right.
I have kids in my own right. I don't have literal kids.
Right.
This Twitch thing is a whole responsibility.
True.
My parties, like especially like Tsunami,
right?
That's a whole responsibility, like a child at times.
Right.
And these things, like, they always take precedence because of the outcome. And a big thing that I think that you touched on was when you were talking about, okay, you want that space noir.
Right.
But you have to think now about where to get the money to execute that idea.
Right.
So that is dedicating not only mental space in your head,
right,
but a period of time in your life where you could have been working on so much other things.
Right.
But if we could eliminate that barrier of, okay, well, I need to find the money to do that.
Right. Exactly.
If we could get the money,
right,
and that takes away the stress of us having to figure out how we're going to get money to do what we want to do,
right,
we could just go straight to doing what we want to do.
Facts.
And that's another reason why this is so important, like generational wealth. If our families and our communities have this kind of money, we could pass those things down to our kids.
Right.
And now we don't have to send our kids necessarily through a school system per se, like a university or college.
Right.
But we can give them the option is, okay, you want to be a cook?
And I want to touch on that topic too. Is just because we live in a system right now, like an age right now where there's so many ways to make money.
Yeah, bro.
So many ways. Like I'm not sure if you're noticing, but like a lot of places are having. You see a lot of places are hiring.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not, doing the retail jobs. A lot of kids are not doing the retail jobs no more because they're finding out other ways to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this pandemic forced people to start, doing and start thinking.
Facts.
So, to me, there's no excuse.
None.
No excuse.
Like, you have your phone at your fingertips.
Exactly.
And we would, again, these topics that we're discussing, we're going to be highlighting individually week after week. So like 1 week, we're going to be talking about finances.
Right.
Another week, we're going to be talking about the job market, like those type of things. But one thing that you touched on is your phone.
Right.
Now, I want to put this into perspective for a lot of people listening. If you have a physical store, right?
Yeah.
Your potential income is contingent or dependent on who walks into that store on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Yeah.
So let's just say you have 200 people walking in your store, in and out, in one day. So your sales are dependent on you having 200 people coming in your store.
Right.
Out of those 200, let's just say 5 to 10% buy something.
Okay.
You now have, 10 to 20 people that have bought something. So think about the math of that.
Right.
In a day, your overall market is 200 people. Once you talk about online, your market is now the entire world.
Right.
And if you deduce it to platforms, Instagram has how many billions of people?
Exactly.
Okay. The billions of people are now your market. Right. But now you're probably going to be in a niche.
Right.
So what is your niche within Instagram?
Right.
That's now your market.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you something for sure. It's a lot better than 200 people.
Absolutely.
So if you really figure out the online thing, you're going to start making some real money.
And not just that too, is like you put it in an analogy, like you have a storefront, right? You open at a certain time, you close at a certain time. Online?
24. It's like there's so much opportunity that people really need to, and everybody has a phone. You can't tell me right now that if you don't have a phone, bro, send us a message at the People's Pod on Instagram. Yeah. I'll send you a little bit of bread. But if you sending me a message, it probably means you have a phone.
Facts.
So don't be sending no messages asking for no bread from BuzzFeed. But, these are all things, guys, that is important that we start really taking seriously. Facts. You and I, again, the health, we got to get on it. I know it's a sad part because it requires a lot of work, but I know it's a key to us wanting to get to the next level. Right. I know that. So we got to start keeping ourselves accountable. And the last one is elevating entertainment. I'm not really into the reading. Big up yourself. I got to start getting into it.
Nah, you need to, bro.
But I'm more visual and audio.
No, but you need to.
Yeah.
You need to, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you just need to. And it's more for refining your mind. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It will help. Trust me.
Yeah. Entertainment on TV, movies, stuff that we've consumed that we feel like may provide value to you guys.
Right.
So if you were thinking about watching a show, we might come here and give a review on it and say why it's important to watch.
Right.
About elevating music. Again, our culture, we're black, but our, close to home culture is Caribbean music.
Right. And
taking that to the next level, the different discussions that need to be had. On top of these weekly discussions, every other week or so, we're gonna be trying to organize a special guest who is dominant in their field and maybe touch on some of these subjects, or even one show we might have a mental health expert and spend the whole show dedicated to that.
Right.
But the point is just to keep the knowledge rolling and bring people, because we're not the smartest of people.
Exactly. Exactly.
In my own right, I'm kind of an idiot if it's not my own stuff. My DJ stuff, I'm a genius. I'm gonna say that.
I look at it as this, we're all learning, bro.
Yeah.
We're all learning new things.
Yeah.
And why not learn it together?
Yeah, facts. And it's important to have these kind of conversations and just, again, take our culture to higher heights.
Exactly.
And whatnot.
Right.
So, I mean, a couple more things to talk about. We have a quick special guest on the first episode of the People's Podcast.
We do.
Interesting.
You gotta let the cat out the bag or what?
Big Bird will come over here just now.
Okay. Come on, Big Bird.
One thing that you said that's important. You became a registered business recently.
I did.
And myself
before
the pandemic.
Before the pandemic.
Me as well. But people don't really realize how much that takes. So something that you said to me recently, you've changed your business model after reassessing things.
Yes.
And you're primarily like your passion and you're primarily a graphic designer.
Yes, I am.
So you, in my opinion, have changed the game when it comes to visuals within the industry, in our city at least.
Right.
Moving forward now, you decided to change your business model.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
So yeah, most people know me as, JKD. And a lot of people know me for my graphic design. I have a graphic design company called Think Elephant. And I've been, for quite some time now, I've been designing, event flyers, party flyers, whatnot. But because of the pandemic, I reflected back and wanted to change in my work and my portfolio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I realized, yes, I was making money doing event flyers. But I kind of wanted to take it back because I wanted to maximize how much time I was spending.
Yeah.
So I decided to switch it up from doing event flyers or just to completely just doing corporate and building brands and identity.
Nice.
And I figure I want to do that first because, I want to change up, my portfolio. I want to add a little bit more corporate to my portfolio because realistically, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
It's in the corporate world, right? And number two, I just wanted to maximize on my time. I felt like when I was doing flyers and stuff, I wasn't spending time on myself. I wasn't spending time with my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm up late nights in the hour working on people's stuff.
Yeah.
Because they need it for a certain time. They have a flyer, they want to push it out. So like it wasn't satisfying me. It was getting to a point where just like, I'm pushing myself to the limit. I'm up, there's no sleep.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to maximize on time. So I just decided to take that route. And honestly, it was a slow start, but I'm now seeing the benefits of it. A lot of people are hitting me up. A lot of businesses are hitting me up. I get the joy of creating somebody's brand that they're gonna use for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I can just say, like JKD did that. You know what I'm saying?
Which, by the way, is not these like week after week party flyers.
Exactly.
Right? And that's kind of the change that I like that you made. It's the one-off flyers is not really satisfying in terms of not only finances, but you as a person.
Right. Exactly.
As you said, you like to see people's brand grow, and that's honorable, man.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see you're progressing with that. So any small businesses listening to this?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
JKD could definitely look at my brand.
Yeah.
That's a testament in itself what JKD's done.
Yeah, man.
In terms of the visuals of that. So anybody that's looking for that, hit up JKD.
Yeah, man.
I became incorporated before the pandemic. I didn't do it for Twitch. But for a lot of people that, you look at the story that I said earlier, you look at the places I have traveled, been places like Dubai, the DJ, Trinidad, London, UK, right? I could give y'all a list of what's supposed to be the up and coming that are still in negotiation, but supposed to be the up and coming international gigs. Notting Hill Carnival, Colombia is on the list.
Right.
St. Kitts is on the list. St. Lucia, Bahamas, Japan, Ghana is confirmed. The rest of these are on the list. But I say all of that to say, like, you guys are going to see the highlights on Instagram. You're going to see the plane pictures, the successful moments, the times where I link up with these kings in their own right. But what you don't see is the amount of work and sleepless nights, like JKD just said, and the times where you're sacrificing that time with your family in order to do these projects.
Right.
I compiled a list of, and I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting some stuff, of just the stuff that I'm into these days as a corporation, DJ Busby Incorporated. What I'm currently involved in now that I'm a business: producing my own staple events like Tsunami, Soca Sleepover, keeping up with the books for tax purposes. I don't got nobody doing that for me. Somebody does my taxes, but I have to keep up with that, right? Performing at weekly nightclub gigs, which we talked about takes a toll on anybody. Streaming a minimum of 3 days a week on Twitch. Producing mixtapes. Managing and editing content for my social media. The People's Podcast now, steering this ship and being directly involved with promotional or the production of the show. DJing internationally. My own graphic design and video design that you don't always do. Like, you do majority of my stuff, but I still have to take on some because you can't do everything. Preparing now to sell my own merchandise, all while doing a 9 to 5 and trying to keep up with a social life with my family and friends. And trying to fit in or force in, I should say, leisure where I can. So that's the Netflix, the music, the whatever, what have you. And I still feel like I'm not doing enough, and I could be doing more. And I really say that to say, a lot of y'all out here that thinking y'all doing the world, like, you really have room to do way more, you know?
Absolutely.
And if I think I'm not doing a lot after the list I just mentioned, or I'm not doing enough after what I just mentioned, some of y'all really need to step up your game if you want to start seeing an elevation in your craft.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But either way, big up to all the hustlers out there, all the people in general. We've developed this platform as a kind of a conversation that needs to be had in our culture in order to elevate us to the next level. Understand? So, I mean, at this point, before we close out, we could bring in our special guest. All right, people. So we got a special guest, fan of the show, very helpful with the show, and not only by lending us his Zoom, but he would always send us a little thoughtful message here and there to say, you know, what he thinks could be a benefit to the show, how it can improve, suggest special guests, etc. So, you know, it's very nice of him to join us here on the first podcast. Want to welcome Prawn. How you doing, sir?
I'm tired. I was waiting here for like a couple hours now, waiting to get brought in.
Couple hours.
So I fell asleep there. So this old age.
Well, these are
should be grateful that you're in my presence.
These are the issues for being 40 minutes late anyway. So.
Well, you know.
I don't care. No, your flat tire half an hour after you're supposed to be here.
Flat tire.
Oh, sorry guys, I have a flat.
You know, my daughter was sick today, so.
Okay. Not all the excuses, but he don't know time.
Of course.
That's another thing we should add to the list. Time. Black people, we need to learn time. Absolutely. Anyway, Prawn, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. We're glad to have you.
I don't have much to say anymore.
No, but anyway, let us
to be here though.
You have a unique perspective as well, both of you, because you guys spent the first 2 years of being new fathers to your daughters. You know, you guys spent the first 2 years dealing with that in close quarters. You know, a lot of people have at least the break of going to work and leaving your child with somebody and then coming back and dealing with that stress. But how was that for you, and how was the 2 years in general for you?
I already had some of that because I took parental leave. Only took a month, but I think overall, it was an interesting shift. Pivot was the word of the year last year, so interesting pivot to do that, and then got her off to daycare, and I was like, good, I can get some time back to do some actual work and not juggling between meetings and changing diapers, which was in 2020. That was the line that I had the most was.
Got you.
I had to be a meeting, and then it's like, okay, sorry guys, I gotta go change it. Sorry all, I gotta go change a diaper. So and I was literally in her room, using her room as my so-called office.
So one thing I think your wife would agree with me on, big up Keisha, you yourself are definitely a workaholic. So being in this, again, close quarters with a daughter and constantly behind the screen, what kind of impact do you think that's having on you?
I don't know if I'm a workaholic.
You are definitely.
I do work a lot.
Workaholic.
I do want to make sure that I can do my best to provide for my family. So that's more of the focus of anything.
Yeah, true. But
I've been to places where you don't have a steady paycheck coming in. I don't like that feeling. I don't want that again.
Yeah.
And then when you have new responsibilities, especially with a family, especially with a young child, especially, you never want to be in that situation again. So but this year I promised my wife to be home more and take more. I think I was telling both of you I had so much. I guess you are correct. I do work a lot. Not a workaholic, but I work a lot. I had enough vacation days and I had all of December off because HR was like, you have way too many vacation days. You can't carry them all over. What are you gonna do? And I was like,
the boy would probably try to ask for a payout.
Of course, of course. Of course I want to pay out. Of course. Who doesn't want to pay out?
I would rather take the time, to be honest.
What would you do?
But that's because I have my DJ income. So
okay.
the little 600, 700 that I'd probably get out of that?
I mean, back in the day, like, if that was me, I would take the money straight. But time is more valuable now.
Yeah, now it is. But I mean, for me, it was like, okay, you have the pandemic. No one's really going anywhere unless you're one of those people that, doesn't care and you just want to travel and then you come home.
The basement party.
or the storage unit party.
Yeah.
I won't say who, but we know about those.
Yeah.
Lucky I didn't call 311, but anyway. So we weren't traveling really, right? So I had all these vacation days that were just stacking up. So then it became, you got to take them. So I had all December off, and then it kind of really reflected the fact that I had so much vacation time.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I mean, I had vacation time. I had wellness days. I had personal days. I had volunteer days. I barely used anything, right? So then it kind of was reflective of you need to take some time. So this year I intend on taking time, whether it's even just like a Friday, take a day off or a half day off every month or something, or every couple of weeks, and just
that reset is very needed, man. And I get wanting to do everything you can, especially for your daughter, and I share the same sentiment sometimes because, as I said, like, if these events don't take if I don't give it the proper care, then they
and how involved I am as a parent. So it's like, it's not like I stop working, right? Like it's not like I was working and then I'm done at the end of the day. At the end of that 5 o'clock, I'm just done. It's like I still go pick up my daughter from daycare. I'm gonna cook dinner, gonna do bath time, we do bedtime, and we juggle that with my wife and stuff. So it's like I'm always, one of my roles and tasks is to change the diapers. That was a deal that I made with my wife that I shouldn't have made, where I said, you breastfeed and now change the diapers. I didn't think the fact that breastfeeding is going to stop soon, but diapers are going to go on for years. So and I was doing cloth diapering as well, so that made it even worse. But I'm very involved anyway. So I am tired. My wife sometimes she wonders like, how do you even get up in the morning and just go and just do things? Because it's like working, daughter, and I stay up for a bit, sleep first for a couple hours, and then I'm back up, right? So
ain't no time to comb your hair. But
you know what? And that's the thing too. That was today. Today I was supposed to go and get my hair cut, so I looked, as my wife would say, presentable. Look like I'm with someone.
Watch Don King
for home, and then I sent you a message, and I had to go pick up my daughter. Her daughter was sick sick at preschool, so I had to go pick her up. And then I had to work call and everything like that. And I was working till like 7 o'clock from serious issue happened at work. So so I came looking like this. I tried to. I took a shower though, at least. So at least that part is good.
Thank God for a change. We're just nitpicking though. We're just joking around. So with that being said, you've been sitting here for this entire podcast until now. What do you think?
About what?
So we had the pre-lime.
Your Lego jacket that you have there.
Okay.
Look, man, coming here looking like Tetris.
Listen,
Speaking
Big Bird.
of Russia, and man coming looking like Tetris. You see
is he Big Bird or Bert? Big Bird or Bert? Watch out, Bert.
You see who supports Putin?
Bert and Ernie. Watch out, Bert.
I stand with Ukraine. I'm just saying, because Moscow Tetris looking.
You wish you had this. You wish you had this throw over. What do you think? What do you think about pre-lime and the transition out to the People's Podcast and the kind of stuff we're going to be getting into?
The new color of the logo, right? That's what I was wearing this yellow for. That was the thought, rather than wearing the lime green. I think it's good. I think it's good to be mature, right? Good. I don't know if you use that in your speech, but everyone gets to a point where you have to evolve and elevate and mature. And that's what's happening here. I mean, I've been around since the beginning, when it was a concept, and you know, I've seen it grow, and then I've seen you and JKD, you blossom as buddies, and then that's it. And then so it's good. It's good that you're actually going and
so people,
and
the stuff I just muted out is vile and disgusting.
It's
this person definitely should not have the responsibility of a microphone.
It's a classic
He's
stuff.
He's the worst of people.
Listen, you can't have.
He's not only not a nice person, he's the worst of people. He's a mean person.
You have to have a little bit of the old show in here as well. You can't just.
We are.
You can't just go cold turkey and just. You know, you have a little
as
bit.
You
little
saw,
bit here
as you
there.
heard in the earlier parts of this episode, some stuff ain't never gonna change.
Yeah. But it's great that you've evolved, and it's. I think it's a good for the show. We've spoken in depth before about essentially pigeonholing the show in terms of having it as a very, very limited to the community.
Yeah.
And it needs to, in order for it to expand, it needs to be wider and more global and more welcoming. Absolutely. And it can't. And we've discussed that before, right? With it, you know, how much you want to do with it and where you want to take it.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do within. Unfortunately, there's only so much you can do with our community in terms of the West Indian community, and even the name. Just you said Lime. It's like, people don't get it. Right. You don't get it, right? Mm-hmm. So the name change makes sense. The rebrand makes sense. The relaunch and all that just makes sense for what's to come, and elevating everything and making a lot better of a concept.
Yeah, man, we appreciate that, and thank you for your help on setting up those Zoom meetings too. Like every time we have an interview, it would just be a quick message to Pran. Yo, Pran, Saturday 12 to 3. Can you set up this interview with so and so? And within minutes, he'd have the Zoom link ready. You know, or sometimes he'd be working and send it later, but nonetheless, thank you for that help.
I was on my work laptop. That's why I was able to send it so fast.
Yeah. But honestly, just the couple years that we had in that space, it really elevated the production value and stuff that I always question, especially to Delhi being the video guy and being more knowledgeable in the tech space. Stuff I've always questioned about, isn't there an easier way to do this? Isn't there an easier way to do that? Like before, we were literally recording off of 2 cameras, putting them on top of each other, and then cutting out whoever's talking. That's like one of the most time-consuming things ever. Not only are we spending 2 hours here doing the podcast, now either like most of the times it was me, I had to sit down there and do 2-3 hours of that. Yeah. And then sometimes Delhi would most times when we started developing the actual social media content, Delhi was producing little mini clips and content himself. So and then you doing the graphics behind it. But a blessing from the pandemic was, you know, a lot of stuff that we came across, like Twitch, and the DJs that know about that space or people that stream on Twitch know about OBS. The transform, like all of this that you're seeing here is off of OBS with a stream deck, the cameras, etc. And we'll go more into depth about that in other shows. But these things that we learned throughout that time helped to fuel the engine. And we could now develop a structure where it's like, we've smartened up and become more mature with what we're presenting, but at the same time, we could elevate our production value.
I think a large thing of this that's beneficial to you would be using the Zoom link and just the remote interviews.
Yeah.
So there's a time where you'd have to schedule with someone and say, okay, I'll wait for someone to come in. So someone's coming in for this Fed or that Fed or whatever the case is.
Out of town, right?
Out of towners. Yeah. And then you can try to get with them and time them and get them and interview that. Now it's just like, hey, can you do this interview? Here's a Zoom link.
Yep.
You know what? And that's it. And it's gonna widely broaden the amount of people that you can now interview.
Exactly.
As long as they have the time for it, and the technical part they could probably work around. But it's much. I mean, you can do Zoom on your phone too, right? So you can get a lot of people, and the people probably that won't be able to either come to Canada or Toronto or won't be booked to come here for whatever reason. People that may not never even leave their country, but you can get like a smaller artist too, right? There might be artists that may not have the bookings to come out yet. You can get them when they're new and get some really good insight on how they are, and then maybe you interview them today, and then a year from now they're huge and the price would have gone up, but you already have the interview, So
facts.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. That's the term. That's the American term, right?
Big up Fat Joe, and with everything you just said, that's one of the things we're gonna close here with. People, next week is our first special guest interview where we are going to be sitting down with somebody through the same dimensions that Pran just discussed virtually, but we've created it in a very unique way. And I have an idea of how we could do this, but it's not only the structure of what we're going to do next week. People, the interview we have next week is legendary.
It is.
This conversation that we're about to have is legendary. And we've been struggling to find interviews like this, again, like Pran just said, because we have to consider when are they in town?
Right.
When can we actually sit down with them? Do we have to go to their hotel? Can they come here, etc.? It was headache. So linking with them, period, was difficult.
Right.
But now, people, next week, all I got to say is make sure to follow us on all of our social platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on SoundCloud. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the People's Podcast. And remember to type people with PPL.
Right.
And one thing I like is we're always going to have that.
Yeah.
So that'll always make us remember where we started.
Right.
And for people that, are going to think that we popped up out of nowhere, we actually did 150 episodes of a whole different podcast called the Pre-Lime. You understand? And this is just an elevated brand, and, we're maturing, we're growing up.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we're here to do. So last thing, do you have anything else you'd like to tell the people before we?
I was wondering if you give them a hint of any sort of who it's going to be.
A hint.
But well, with not exposing it, I mean, I could drop. I don't want to be.
Jakey and I will both give a hint.
All right.
So what's your hint? No, not an easy hint. Get him. I'm gonna mute that.
Yes.
And then okay. Now we're just giving one hint.
Okay, you give a hint first.
All right. This person has 49,600 followers on Instagram.
Okay.
Make it difficult. They have to go search it up. You said that his catchphrase.
I don't have a hit then, bro. I don't have a hit.
Right. Don't worry about it.
He's black.
Yeah.
It's a man, so I guess that narrows it down.
He's black. He's a man, and he has 49,600 followers on Instagram. Anyway, people, last word. Matter of fact, hold on, Deli, come over here for a second. No. We needed to have you come here and say a 1-2 because this is the guy behind the camera. He also helps with a lot of the social media content and just the project in general. He wants to see this get to the next level just as much as we do, and you can't find this kind of dedication from people on the streets, or y'all people that are listening to this podcast. He's been with us for the better part of what, probably 100 of those 150 episodes, maybe more. I don't even remember when you fully came into the fold. Or was it early? It was
relatively early.
No, so you pretty much been here the whole time.
Yeah.
So this is Deli, guys, and one of the people that has helped us with this project, and we thank you. Let's hear what you think, bro. Or first of all, how has the last 2 years been for you? The pandemic.
Pandemic, man. The pan pizza. We've been going through it, man. It's been crazy. I don't know, the biggest thing for me was, I guess, losing my mom.
Yes.
That was
Condolences.
that was a big challenge to kind of figure out what's next.
Yeah.
And yeah, I took the time off work. I said, yo, no work. I don't care. I'm taking the time off, and it really was good. It was needed. I got my space. Other than that, I feel like the world didn't stop for me. We just kept going with absolutely everything, right?
Yeah.
Trying to find a way to make money, trying to find a way to, live your life. So I think, coming out of this pandemic, obviously you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time looking up things, researching. I don't see things different. I mean, I do see things different. So things like that, I think it's ready. It's about time, we all evolve as people. We're all getting older. So we have to be wiser and make better decisions for sure.
Facts.
That's what I think.
Nah, man, big up yourself. I'm sorry that happened. It's a difficult time for that to happen. As I said, it's not my mom, God forbid, knock on wood, but my grandma passed her in them times too, and it was dark.
Yeah, same.
And
same
I
thing.
could imagine
Yeah.
I could imagine that it was like that for you too, man. So, here with the project itself now. So you were there pretty much right through with the pre-prelim. What do you think about this changeover?
Again, it's time.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I used some of the time in my internship in school in pre-prelim. So
Yes.
I was an intern of the podcast.
Yeah.
Ironically, and it worked out perfect because the knowledge that I gained was relevant to what I was doing. So it's not like it was out of the loop or I was just doing it for show. Like it was beneficial to me in many senses.
Yeah.
So I do think taking this time to reevaluate and be able to be logical now and more strategic, I'd say, in what we're putting out and giving to the people. I think this PPL will be better.
Wicked, man. Now, you know, we always appreciate you, bro. Now it's just to put in the work.
That's it.
I heard Drake say something, or not heard, I saw Drake post something throughout the quarantine that stuck out to me so much, and that was the reward for hard work is more work. Know that. You know his little white boy Toronto slang. Know that. But that's facts. The reward for hard work is more work, man.
For sure.
But we appreciate all your hard work, Deli, and now on to bigger and better things, man.
That's it.
Anyway, hey, well, no, you can stay there. We're closing out now. So, people, this is the all-new People's Podcast, and we want to thank all the people for listening, for tuning into the first episode. Once again, next week is an extremely legendary conversation that we're going to have with a legend in the business, and there's going to be so many takeaways, I bet, when we sit down and have that discussion with him that you guys could apply to your real life and whatnot. So, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. One last thing I want to mention is a few call-outs. Now, like we mentioned, or like Deli just mentioned, you know, he actually spent time with us as community time, or what is it, volunteer hours or something like that?
Yeah.
So more or less volunteer hours for an internship with us as pre-prelim. You know, students out there, we're doing a call-out right now for volunteers that want to help with the project. You know, dedicate some time and we could sign that off to you. It doesn't have to be school per se, but if you just like what we're doing and you think you could afford to dedicate maybe a few hours out of your week to help us with this project, we would truly appreciate it. But again, it ain't paid because, I mean, we're not making anything off of it, but not yet. But at the same time, like Deli said, there's a lot of value and knowledge that you could learn from sitting in this space with us. If you want to make your own podcast one day, you know, I wish I could look back and say I did that sometimes, where if I had access to an individual that's doing it, if I could just go in that space and help out how I can, but get to see how they operate, come on. Like that's like saying you're gonna go for a work week with like a Tyler Perry, and then you get to see now exactly what he does in his job, and then apply it to your own craft, right? We're also doing a call out for early investors in the People's Podcast. You know, previous guests that we've had, small business owners that are watching this, the barrier to entry right now in this podcast is dirt cheap. We are not charging much for you to advertise your business on this platform, especially if you're an initial investor. We will be charging something, but because we're building a platform and advertising your services or business on it. But saying all that to say we're looking for investors. We're looking for people who want to promote their business on our platform. You could easily reach out to us, djbusby@gmail.com, JeronKerr23@gmail.com, and the People's Podcast@gmail.com, right? So we could I'll probably link those somewhere down here on the video on YouTube. But with that being said, make sure to follow us on YouTube. That's where you could see us as opposed to just hearing us. But if you could only hear us, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And last but not least, when you're on those platforms, we just want to encourage you guys, hit the like button. Like, people don't realize the importance of that.
Yeah.
That's valuable in terms of the algorithm. The more people that like our stuff, the higher it goes in terms of when YouTube's deciding what should everybody watch. Right? So hit the like button. That's very important.
Right.
Comment. People like seeing actual commentary under the videos of stuff that we post, or in general that people post.
Right.
It's important to actually have some sort of communication in your content, and follow and subscribe on YouTube.
And share it.
and share. Tell a friend, like, there's no sense in keeping this kind of valuable knowledge and life-changing knowledge to yourself. You know somebody that's going through it right now. They're struggling with life. Somebody just had a bad breakup. Somebody just had a bad business move and lost a ton of money.
Right.
Somebody that doesn't know how, they're clearly spending their money in nonsense ways. Or somebody that you think should get their health in check. This is the platform that's close to home, and it's a community-based platform that you should feel like listening to this podcast that you're involved in. Because technically you are. You're the people, and this is the people's podcast.
Right.
So we want to thank you guys, and that's it. What was that word we used to end the show with?
Peace.